we are going to make a pesto. I'm going to show you a few tips and tricks to make a really good pesto today. So first, we're going to start off with some beautiful fresh basil. You just want to remove the leaves here. So you'll pick the leaves, whatever quantity of leaves for whatever quantity of pesto that you would like to make. And from here, we're going to go ahead and blanch our basil. So this is going to keep it bright and vibrant green for days to come. It will not change color. Simple thing like this. So we're going to go ahead over here to a pot of boiling water. You could boil this right into your pasta water if you wanted even. So a little bit of salt. We're going to quickly drop these leaves into our boiling water. Again, using a spider, using any tool that you have to kind of get these leaves out would be fine as well. And you only need about 20-30 seconds. You want to make sure too that you have some ice water ready and available, and that's going to help to stop the cooking process. So we're just barely cooking it to set the color, and then we're shocking it in ice water to stop the cooking so that the basil doesn't lose color. So all we're looking for is for it to cool. So we want to take our basil and squeeze most of the liquid out, but not all of it. Okay, it's okay if you get an ice cube or two in there. It's actually beneficial. If you don't get an ice cube or two in there, you'll want to throw one in. It's very important that you add these ice cubes, 1 or 2 ice cubes, because this blender will have a tendency to kind of heat up, and we want to avoid actually cooking our basil. When you go to then complete your pasta dish, we're gently warming our pesto. We're not actually cooking it. So that's a very important part, not to actually ever cook your pesto. So a little pinch of salt. If you wanted to add garlic, at this point you could. You could also keep it separate. So we'll add in some olive oil now and add more as needed to thin this out. For, let's say, a nice healthy bunch of basil picked, you'll need about a 1/4 cup of olive oil or so. But this is something, again, pesto is very loose. You can do whatever you'd like. Add as much olive oil or as little olive oil as you'd like, as long as you get the right consistency. You want it nice and smooth. So we are going to turn our blender on and drizzle in some more. So in terms of consistency, how thick or thin you want it, if you want the basil still kind of rough. Again, I really like pestos that are a little more rustic, a little rougher around the edges, let's say. So I like my nuts, if you're adding them, to be rough chopped. Sometimes the basil as well, to have a little more texture. If you want it thinner, you'll puree it a little bit longer. That's fine too. So we have our beautiful basil pesto here. We're going to pour it out into a dish and show that to you. So right here we have our nice bright green pesto. This will again stay green even a few days later in the refrigerator, so you have no worries about it changing color. So this is again just basil that has been blanched, a little bit of ice water, some olive oil, and a pinch of salt.